That's why.
And also, why would he say informed? Like if he's already told. So it must be informed. So there must be. So I think the angels don't know that. So it must be these angels don't know about.
Alright guys, 5 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7. Alright, 1, finish. Alright guys. Okay, so what did you guys conclude? What was he taught? Any idea? 19 layers? What?
No.
Sorry?
I asked how many names do you have right now?
Okay, alright. Any ideas?
Things that the angels didn't know about.
Things that, okay, so that's a very, I like that, that's a good answer, I like that. Okay, well done, yeah, I mean, he's right, fundamentally he's absolutely right, okay. Anything else?
Same answer.
Same answer, oh, okay. Is that a cop-out or is that the real same answer?
No, he actually had
Okay, well done, okay. That was for one of you guys, okay, never mind. Right, so well done. It was something that the angels did not know about, okay? And scholars have differed, some say that he taught Adam absolutely everything from the beginning of time to the end of time. Some people said it just referred to certain animals which God constructed in front of them so that he could test the angels. You see that he tests the angels. He puts them in front of the angels and says, tell me what are the names of these things, right? So there are a lot of theories behind it. The idea is, the fundamental idea is that learning, one of the lessons that you learn is learning is a divine process. Learning is a defined process. Al-asma'a, it comes from the word sama. See, al-asma'a here is translated as names, right? But one of the associated meanings of al-asma'a, sama'a, it means the skies. The skies. Telling you what? That everything you acquire as knowledge is something that is given to you by God Himself. Right? And if you look at consistently throughout prophets, what was Noah taught to do? What was he taught to do? To build an ark. What was Idris taught to do? Pen, right? He was taught knowledge or philosophy. David? Huh? Sing. Yeah. What are you talking about? Iron, man.
No, he was given chainmail.
Huh?
He was given chainmail, wasn't he?
Was he given chainmail?
I felt like armor was the first.
Was it him or was it somebody else?
I thought it was David.
No, but the revelation of David was all songs.
Songs, yeah, it was praise. And if you look, what's the name of that book? Of his book? What's the name of his book? Psalms. That's it. Yeah. So it's if you look at it, it's very, very beautiful, very poetic. It's like a bit like Jalaluddin Rumi's style sort of thing, right? Solomon.
How do you say it?
Sorry? Yeah, it's very, very poetic. Solomon, construction, all that sort of stuff. So you see, every prophet was taught or given something in regard to seeking knowledge, right? Now, this is very interesting because, this is something that I picked up while I was doing looking through the Surah Al-Baqarah, right? What was the very first verse that was revealed to the Prophet? Put your hands up. Put your hand up. What was the very first revealed that was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him? Yes? I'll give her a chance. No, you do. Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Okay, read in the name of your Lord, right? And as I've mentioned before, Arabic is a very deep language, and there are many synonyms in Arabic, but they have slightly different distinctions that you don't get in English necessarily. So another word for read in Arabic is itlu, from the word tilawa. Okay, from the word tilawa. Now, I wanted to know why God specifically chose the word iqra, read, and not itlu, which also means read. Does anybody know the distinction between itlu and iqra?
Isn't it to recite,
Okay.
It's
Good
for the
example.
Quran.
Huh?
It's more for the Quran, but for everything.
Oh, excellent! Well done. Okay, guys, on a downhill, right? So, itlu is only referred to divine books, the scriptures, Quran, books of the past, etc. All those, the word in the Quran is used itlu. But when the word iqra is used, it refers to everything. So from the very beginning of Islamic traditions, we are taught, don't just stick to divine scripture, intellectualize yourself with absolutely every single field. Combine the two together. Work two hand in hand together. So if you want to be an engineer, right? There's nothing wrong with being an engineer, and trying to do that for the sake of God. That's actually good. That's actually very, very good, and it's encouraged, right? If all were to become scholars, the society wouldn't function, right? Unfortunately, and there is some trend to this. Some people, when they get very, very into the religion, quite too deep, they want to leave everything that they study and just go straight into the religion, right? But that's not the best thing to do. Hold both together and move your way forward, right? It's not a bad thing. Learn the world, learn the divine, put them together, make your way to success. Does that make sense? Yeah? Excellent. Okay. So, and then obviously God says, inform me the names of these. So he gave the angels a chance, right? If you think that you can be Khalifa, name me these things. Now, were the angels, were they able to respond to this? Wow, we have a very static class. Were they able to respond to this?
No.
Oh, well done. Okay, excellent. No, they weren't, right? So, yeah.
Before you go forward,
Yes.
why did it say if you are truthful? What's the meaning of that? How does it, them answering or not answering, how did it define them being truthful or
Yeah, I
not
also got it.
Okay, so this is like some sort of, it's like two parts here. There's some sort of expression, like, so if you are truthful in your claim that you deserve, because what were they implying in the previous verse? That, you're praising or worshiping, you don't need to create somebody else, right? And so he was responding to that implicitly. Okay, if you're truthful in that sense, right, and try and name these things, okay? There's also some underlying theory that we'll head across in 2 more verses. Very good pickup. Does that make sense? Did they answer that? Excellent. Okay. Now, so we move on to the next verse, and they say, so God is now, the angels are now, basically they're submitting themselves. They're saying, Subhanaka al-ilma, exalted are you, we have no knowledge except what you have taught us. Indeed, you who is the knowing and the wise. And this is a very, very interesting lesson for all of us. Okay? So, what are the angels showing in front of God in this verse?
Humbleness and obedience.
Humbleness and obedience. Okay? Now, this is actually for us it seems like a very, very easy thing to do, but actually angels are showing humbleness towards 2 things. Not just God, he's also showing humbleness towards Adam. Okay? Now look at this. Who is the older creation between the two? Between angels and Adam. Who's the older creation?
Angels.
The angels. Who is the younger creation? Adam. Now, imagine this, right? You've been working at an industry. You've been working at an industry, I don't know, for 40 years, imagine. And your CEO, your boss, he invites you in. And then he says, okay, this young person is now your boss. And he's like maybe 20 years old. He's just fresh off the kid. You have to now humble yourself in front of him. That's much, much more difficult to do than anything, right? The angels have so much humbleness and submission that they had to do that for what? To obey God, right? To try and show their purity and humbleness towards God. And that is something all of us need to try and learn. A very fundamental lesson, a very beautiful lesson as well, right? And it's very good to teach your kids that. Very good, because kids are fed with the arrogance injection, you are the leaders of the future, you're this of the future, etc. Where we have to teach them you're not leaders, but the servants of the future. Right? You're the servants of the future. Okay. Now, one of the things here is that now the angels did not know the answers to the question, right? They did not know the answer. So one of the other things that you learn from that is sometimes it's best to say, I don't know. God knows best, right? The constitution of Islamic practices is there's a hadith called Hadith Jibreel. Well, Gabriel came towards the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, right? And he asked him 4 questions. He asked him, what is Islam? And then he mentioned the 5 pillars of Islam, right? Then he asked him, what is Iman, right? And then the Prophet Muhammad, he said the 6 pillars of Iman. Then he said, what is Ihsan? And he said that Ihsan is like trying to be the best worshipper as if you're seeing God there in front of you. And then, very interesting, he asked the Prophet, when is the end of times? When is the end of times? What did the Prophet say? I don't know. The best, from the point of view that he is the best person ever alive, right? He said, I don't know. So I told you that hadith is known as the constitution of Islamic framework. 4 questions. How many of those 4 questions did he not know the answer of? 1. 25%, right? He didn't know 25% of the constitution, right? If you don't know, God knows best. And that's very difficult to do. I'm telling you, sometimes it's very, very difficult to do. Especially when people look up to you in a certain limelight and you're trying to educate people and then they ask you a difficult question. It's so easy to just try and make up an answer on the spot, isn't it? Because you can't resist either damaging your reputation or you want to just show off to that person, right? So you just, oh yeah, I know that, and then you just go on, blah, 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 right? But the idea is, always remember, if you do not know, it's best to say God knows best. One really interesting scholar is in a very small book. It's called The Increase and Decrease of Faith, how they fluctuate essentially. And one of the scholars, he mentioned that 50% of being a scholar is to know when to say, I don't know. And that takes humility, and that takes a lot. That takes a lot. Remember, humble yourself and learn to say, I don't know, if you don't have the knowledge about the question that's being asked.
Can I add something about it?
Yes?
I think when he did ask, when Gabriel he asked him, and his reply, he didn't say no. He basically said that, I will say it in Arabic, and he said that وَمَا السَّائِلُ أَعْرِضُ الْمَسْئُولُ, which is mean, if you don't know, I don't know. Even angel, Gabriel, he didn't know about the Sa'a, so...
Very good. You're on fire today. Well done, mashallah. Okay, excellent. Okay, excellent. Even the angels did not know. Okay, well done. Okay, that's adding further emphasis. Well done, mashallah. Sister, you're on fire. Guys, wake up. Okay, right. Okay, so, right. So what does this tell you? That the distinction between Adam and angels, what is the fundamental distinction between those two? It's knowledge. Knowledge, right? So that tells you what? You should be inspired to seek, to learn. Not just about religion, but about every single thing around you. You must be explorers of the world. You know, Imam Shafi, a very famous Islamic scholar, he said, I took everyone around me as a teacher. Whatever was good, I took it from him. Whatever was bad, I learned not to do from that other person. Right? Take everything from everything. Right? Learn, and seek to be the explorers of the future. That's the best way to resemble, to humanize yourself in front of God. Right? There's one, just to show you the importance, and I want to really stress on the importance of humility and knowledge. They must come hand in hand. Otherwise, it can become a very dangerous weapon. This is a true story. It's about a young boy. He wanted to become an Islamic scholar, okay? And he went towards this very famous, saint, scholar, whatever you want to call it, right? And he said, teach me about the religion. I want to know more about Islam. Teach me that, okay? So the scholar assessed him up a bit and said, okay, look, before I teach you anything, I want you to go to the farm, right? And I want you to wash the excretion of the animals, the horse, the camel, etc., all that sort of stuff. He does it, and then he ends up doing it for 7 years. He ends up washing the farm for 7 years, okay? Only after 7 years does the scholar start teaching about the religion, start teaching about the Quran, the Hadith, etc. And he became a very good scholar, right? But then something hit him. He asked his teacher, Sheikh, sir, why did it take you so long to teach me about the religion? Why did it take you 7 years? The scholar had a very interesting response, and I mean, this is something that we should all learn from this. He said, when you came to me, your arrogance was sky high. And if you combine arrogance with knowledge, that's a devastating result. Because that's the resemblance of Iblis, right? Satan. But when you washed that farm for 7 years, your arrogance became mere dust. Because when you wash crap for 7 years, you're nothing. You're nothing, right? By the way, crap for me is not a swear word. That's from an American term. That's a fine word to use. Okay, so I want to clarify that. Please. Okay, so don't hold that to account. Right. So and then he said that so your arrogance is on nothing. It's just dust particles. And when you combine that with knowledge, that's when you get a true faithful servant of God. Very, very interesting story, right? So are we clear on this verse? Yeah. Any questions about this? Oh, you okay? Cool. All right. Okay. So then, what happened here? Uh-oh. Okay, there's some flash effect there, right? So then it says, right, oh Adam, inform them of their names. So then now God is telling Adam, right, Prophet Adam, now you tell the angels about these guys, right? And when he had informed them of their names, he said, now he's basically telling the angels, didn't I tell you I know what you don't know? You assume that this creation I was going to create, they're going to create a lot of anarchy, a lot of bloodshed, etc. But I know of the unseen things about the world and the heavens which you have no idea. And I know what you reveal and what you have concealed. Okay, now look. So, how many of you Indo-Pak, put your hands up, Indo-Pak again? 1, 2, 3, 4, Indo-Pak region. Okay, so, look, okay, now look. for me, this is what comes to my mind when I read this verse. I know it's funny, but just bear with me, okay? So in our cultures, right? When a parent is proud of his daughter or his son, okay, like for example, he learned the guitar, or he got a PhD or whatever, okay? The first thing they want to do, they invite everyone to their house, and then they show off their children in front of everyone, right? Like, oh, beta, come. Oh, good, please. He plays the guitar, too good, okay? So then he invites, so I'm saying from my experience, I used to play the guitar, right? Anytime I go to someone's house, my father, oh, Shebi, come on, man, just play the guitar, man. Like the full Indian Desi accent and everything, right? So then I was forced to play the guitar, and and the parents feel proud. They feel proud, right? So this is the first thing that comes to my mind when I read this verse. So God is proud of Adam. He's proud that this guy has knowledge. I've created this creation, right? And now I'm showing this creation off to another creation, right? That's the first thing that comes to mind. But what's really interesting is this part here. I know what you reveal and what you have concealed. Now we've established that angels are not evil. Correct, we've established. Now this seems like the angels have some mischievousness in them, doesn't it? That sort of alludes to that Allah subhanahu is saying that you guys have some evil things inside you, as in you're hiding something from me. But we know that angels are the purest of all creation. So what is this referring to? This is where your theory. This is where your scene of Lucifer comes in.
Yeah.
Any ideas?
Just an idea. Could it be that they wanted to ask something, but they felt disrespectful asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so they kept it within themselves? So maybe they wanted to ask something about the...
Okay, that is a plausible explanation. I'm not saying that's wrong or right. I'm saying that's a plausible explanation. Well done. Anything else? Adi?
Sorry.
No idea?
No idea.
No idea. Okay, right.
Maybe about planning to trick Adam into something bad.
Trick Adam. Okay. I'll give you a candle for that. Okay. Huh?
Do you want to go? Okay, you go.
No. Virgil. Fadaj, sorry.
I think he was kind of directing it to Iblis.
Well done. Excellent. Okay. Smash on the head. Well done. Okay. Now look. How many of you went, wow, I didn't know that?
Wow, I was thinking that.
Okay. Oh, sure. Okay. Well done. All right. Okay. We just talked about humility. Excellent. Okay. All right. Okay. Well done. Okay. Future seeker of Mars. Okay. Now look. So, according to, it's even according to the Christian traditions, Jewish traditions. Okay. Iblis, right? The ultimate Satan, essentially. He was tight with God. Right? He was tight with God, very, very tight. And some traditions say that he was actually so tight that he was actually a commander of the angels. He was so close with the angels, essentially. He overruled them, essentially. Right? And so when the command was given, right, to, when the angels were talking about this, some, the series do mention, especially Ruh al-Ma'ani, he mentions that because Iblis was part of the angels, or considered as part of the angels, even though he was Satan, right? Because of that group mentality, right? God knew that Iblis could not take this. He knew that something was stirring in the heart of Iblis, that arrogance was pumping up. So that's what God mentioned. And if you look at the next part, which we're going to get into here, right? This is where the test comes in. What does God tell angels to do? Prostrate. He tells them to prostrate. And who of it doesn't prostrate? Iblis. So the concealment comes out. You understand? The concealment comes out. And that's what it was referring to. According to Ruhman, that makes the most sense to me of that verse. That makes the most sense to me. Now, we need to get into a little bit of theology, okay? So it says here, prostrate towards Adam, okay? In Islam, are we allowed to prostrate to anyone except to God? No. Okay, so your religion is not corrupt because your book is saying angels prostrate to
So
Adam.
it doesn't mean prostrating. It just means like, like when you greet somebody or something like that.
You should not come to class.
What's with the we?
Huh?
What's with the we? You're against the Trinity.
Sorry?
What's with the we in there?
Which we?
Oh,
Okay. Okay, so this is, okay, well, good question. Well, let me first get to this and we'll get to that. So, God refers to himself in third person. We is referred to as a majestic we. So sometimes the queen, she doesn't say I, she
Yeah, I
represents.
read it.
So it's referring to the majestic being, right? So that's the surah. Now, well done. Okay, so some opinions, not all opinions, but very well done. MashaAllah, you're a future mufassir. So, what's it called? Some opinions say that this prostrate does not actually put your head on the ground. It means just a form of submission. Well done. Anything else?
It's supposed to be for respect and not for worship.
Okay, well done. Okay. Now, where's your proof for that, bro?
Well, the proof is this. I don't know if you take it or not. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Dhariyat, verse number 56, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. So the purpose of our creation was to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So,
but that does not incorporate angels.
that's why we make sujood to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there was no in the Quran where there was anything where it says that angels have to worship humans.
No, I agree with that, but I'm saying
so that would be my indirect proof.
No, that's an implicit, that's not a very direct proof. There is a proof in a story you guys should know very well, where somebody prostrated to someone. Huh?
Is it Yahya to Isa or?
What on earth are you doing?
No?
Now I'm expecting such an obvious answer, this guy's like, yeah, what are you saying, what?
Where, like, when they were still in the womb, there was, like, Yahya, you know, John, he prostrated to Isa when they were still in the womb.
Yeah, this is from the Bible.
Oh, it's from the Bible?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I missed
Because I've read that, okay, hold on, huh?
Discipline.
Yes, well done, okay. Okay, guys, look, Yusuf, huh?
His brothers, isn't it?
Yes, Yusuf. Shh. Story of Yusuf, alayhi salam, okay? You all know what happened, right? A lot of bish bash between the brothers. The brothers finally get reunited with Yusuf alayhi salam, now he's the king of Egypt. And then the dream comes true and they all do what? They prostrate, okay? Now, the scholars have mentioned that is a prostration out of respect. Now, you have to understand one fundamental thing. I'll explain this. Let me first mention it in Arabic. All the prophets have the same deen, the same religion, but they have a different sharia, right? They have a different penal code, you can imagine, okay? A different law. They have a different law, right? And it can vary from prophet to prophet. In the previous laws, prostrating towards someone out of respect was fine. But in our religion, if anyone prostrates toward anyone, it is considered illegal. Not illegal is the wrong word. It's considered haram. Sinful. Okay? Sinful. Is that clear?
No.
What?
What do you mean?
What do I mean?
I remember a friend of mine that she used to kiss the hand of her mother-in-law. Is that prostration?
Oh, no, prostration is like put your head to the ground, that prostration. Okay. Yeah.
It's a question that in martial arts, I'm only asking this because
martial arts, you're bringing martial arts into the class. Huh?
because they have to bow to each other as a sign of respect. And is that
Okay, so I'm not going to answer because I don't know that.
alright?
I don't know.
It's not to the floor. It's just
Ask a chef,
Some
bro.
people-
Ask a chef, bro. Just ask a chef. I'm not going to tell you an answer. I don't know. Ask a chef. Okay. You learn from Dr. Shah. I'm just kidding. Right, okay, now look. Alright, so where were we? Okay, definitely, okay. Now, okay, so look, one of the theories, okay, and this is actually a very important theory. It's a very important theory. As Muslims, where do we prostrate toward? Which direction? Huh? Mecca, yes, Mecca. That is known as the Qibla, okay? One theory, and this is a very interesting theory because we can use this inshallah later on. One theory suggests that the Prophet Adam was acting as a Qibla as well, as like Mecca, as like a station central point towards God. That is one theory. And we'll get to that later on inshallah. I'll try and mention that later on, okay? Now look, so now we see the real nature of Adam. He's done three things. He first refused, right? He's first refused. Then he became arrogant, and then he became a disbeliever, right? Now, the word about here, about that means he refused, right? About means to refuse, and intensely refuse someone, okay? Wastakbir, that means he became arrogant, he was arrogant, right? And arrogance is actually the root problem of downfall in Islam. So much so, there is an Islamic hadith tradition of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, where it says that even if you have a mustard seed's weight of arrogance in your heart, you will not be accepted into paradise. Very, very important, Sister Basima. I'm just kidding, right? Very, very important. not to have even an atom's weight of arrogance in your heart. Yes?
You know when you read out the bit about refusal, arrogance, and then becoming disbelievers, you said and then, does that mean that each one happened one after the other?
No.
Together?
Simultaneously.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just,
Okay.
it's just language, yeah. They happen
Okay.
simultaneously, right? So, arrogance is a very, very big problem, right? Now, so here, and then God mentions that he became a kafir. What does a kafir mean? Huh? A disbeliever, a non-believer, someone who's been taken outside the fold of Islam. With me so far. Now we just need to mention one specific point here. Oh, do we have a rubber?
It's the
It's over there.
Where?
Over there.
it's the projector.
Oh. Okay. So. Okay.
Are you not asking a lady to do it?
Sorry? Oh no, don't worry.
I'm not still good.
The thing is, we've got more sisters than brothers, so I don't want to die today. So. Right. Okay. Hello. Now, in Islam, okay, I want you to think about this very carefully, right? What if somebody is a Muslim? Okay, we know Iblis was on the good books of God, right? We know that. If somebody is a Muslim, what takes him outside the fold of Islam? What takes a person outside the fold of Islam? On a very simple level. Think about it. Is it action or belief? Belief, right? Two things we need to talk about. Action and belief. Okay? So, belief, the only thing that totally encompasses belief are the 6 pillars of faith. What are those 6 pillars of faith? Somebody tell me? First one?
Belief in Allah.
God. Number 2. Somebody else. Not you. Somebody else.
Angels,
Angels. Well done. Okay.
previous books,
Books. Well done.
Day of judgment.
prophets,
Prophets. Okay. Well done.
predestination,
The day of judgment day. Sorry, judgment day.
Qadr.
And 6, predestination. Okay. Sorry for my bad writing. Okay. So, if we even get slightly even adjust any of these beliefs, right, that takes us outside the fold of Islam. You understand, right? So if we believe there's another prophet after Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that takes us where? Outside the fold of Islam. Okay? On a very simple level. Now, there can be a lot of actions that people do wrong. So some of them are what? What is a major wrong action that you can do? Shh. No, okay. Forget shirk. Okay, shirk means this. Essentially, you're negating the belief in God. What is it?
I think there's 2 opinions on this, but there's an opinion that if you completely abandon Salah.
Okay, I don't want to get into that. Thank you for raising that up. I don't want to get into that. On a very simple level. So yeah, you're correct. I agree with you.
Hurting the others, hurting yourself.
Well done. Okay, so killing. Alright, that's one. What's another major sin? Tell me major sin.
Sinner.
So adultery. Okay. Alcohol. Okay. Now.
Wine cheers up the heart of people in the Bible.
Okay. Now look. If you do any of these, that does not take you outside the fold of Islam because you still have a chance to repent. Very clear understanding. Even if a person has killed, we know the hadith of the man who killed 99 people, he made repentance, and because of that repentance, he was sent to paradise. Even if you kill, the worst thing you can do is probably kill after disbelief in God. Alright? So this does not take you outside the fold of Islam. You would. If you change any of these, however, that does, because that's a component of belief. And our belief is supposed to inculcate all these 6 pillars. You understand so far? Now, did Iblis, did he refuse belief or did he refuse an action?
Action.
He refused an action. So, now, this is where it gets interesting. He refused an action. And we just said that doing a wrong action does not take you outside the fold of Islam. But Allah said he became a disbeliever.
He did not refuse the action, he refused God's will.
yeah.
Okay, well done. Excellent. Excellent.
Come on, so.
Well done. Okay. Oh my God.
Bro, amen.
I'm sorry. This is a very typical problem I have in class. I miss aim very, very badly. Okay. Now look. I want you to imagine, okay? You all have parents, okay? Now, if your parents tell you don't smoke, okay? You don't smoke. Now you have a habit of smoking, okay? So you hide from your parents, smoke somewhere in secret, okay? Now you still believe in your heart the authority of your parents, and you respect them, right? That's why you're smoking in secret, right? So you still have that belief in them, right? This is the action that you're doing wrong. Now if your parents told you don't smoke, and you smoke in front of them, couldn't care less, that means you also rejected their authority, right? The difference between us and Iblis was there in front of God. He could see God, right? So he didn't just reject the action, he also rejected the authority, that belief. And that's why he became a disbeliever. You see that? Very important principle. Now, from that you actually learn a very, very important point, that arrogance is so strong that it can even make you believe that you are greater than God. Right? You are greater than God. Who, I want to ask, now we know that Iblis is the worst manifestation of evil, right? Satan is the worst manifestation of evil. Who is second in command in the Quran? Pharaoh, the enemy of Musa. He claimed himself as God, right? And where did he end up? In hellfire, right? Very, very important principle, right? Stay away from arrogance, because if arrogance builds up so much, it can even end up you thinking you're greater than God. And that's what Satan wants. See, Satan, he does believe in God, right? He does believe in God. He's seen God himself. His objective is to make you think God is nothing, you're greater than God. When even Iblis knows that that's not true. Yeah?
So he became of the disbelievers means that God casted him away?
Yeah, cast
Or
him
that
away.
he stopped believing?
No, he cast him away, as in like he completely rejected, no matter what he does finish, now he's a disbeliever, right? Because he's rejected clear command from God, right? We're going to just conclude with the next one. Unfortunately, I don't think we can finish today unless people have to leave, so we'll get to that. Okay? So here, this is where it gets a little interesting now, right? And we said, oh Adam, okay, now, so after this whole scenario happens, the angels prostrate towards Adam, and Iblis reveals himself, right? And he knows that he's the enemy of Islam. God then refers back to Adam. And he says, you and your wife, right, go to paradise, right, and eat whatever you want from there. Whatever you want, okay? But do not approach this tree, okay? Unless you want to become an oppressor. Dhalimun, it's translated as wrongdoers, but also means an oppressor of yourself. But don't oppress yourself. Okay? Now, there are a couple of opinions. The tree, so according to the Christian narration, what fruits does the tree have? An apple, right? An apple, okay, right. So according to some of the narrations of the companions of the Prophet, some people suggested, there's nothing authentic what the tree had, what sort of fruit it had. There's some difference of opinions. Some said it was wheat. Some said it was fig, some said it was dates, some even say apple. This is a difference in opinion, okay? Now,
Culturally related.
sorry?
Culturally related. Do you have apples in Kuwait?
I couldn't, well, we don't have apples, we get them imported, but so yeah.
We have apples in our
Yeah, it might be, I don't know. But the thing is, like, we weren't told the specifics. According to Islamic traditions, we don't have the specific. Maybe because God considered it not to be important for us, right? Now, either of them, apple, wheat, fig, dates, are any of these actually wrong? Have we eat these things, right? Now it leads to the question. So this was fine. This was something that it's normal. Like, so why did God ban something that's normal? And that leads to this question. I want you to. This is the final debate we're going to have today. Okay, and we've already had this discussion with the brothers. This soccer discussion, but we had this with the sisters, right? So the question is, right, if we're told something is good, promote evil, promote good and stay away from evil, help people when they're in need and don't help oppressors, etc., stuff like that, right? What makes an action good? Okay, I want you to think about this. This is from a philosophy. This is actually called Euthyphro's principle. It's Plato's case study. We're going to do a little bit of philosophy today. Sorry? Right. So look at this carefully, right? Now, the question is, why is something good or bad? two outcomes, right? And this happens in the case study. You can read the case study online. It's called Euthyphros. I'm just going to mention it. Euthyphros. Dilemma. So search that up. Okay? Now, the philosopher argues if the action itself is good. What the hell? I can't spell itself. Itself, good or bad. You with me so far? So the action itself is either good or bad. Okay? That's one thing. Or God said so. This is the other opinion. Okay? This is the other opinion. Okay? Now the philosopher will say, okay, if the action itself is good or bad, that means we don't need God, because then we can all reach it. Right? You with me so far? That's what the philosopher argues. That's here. So here, say, we don't need God. Okay? Now here, if God said so, so does that mean that anything can be made good or bad? So if God said, make fornication good, does that mean we follow it? If God said killing is good, does that mean we follow it? You see the two dilemmas now, right? Here we have total randomness. Here we have total exilation of God. So as a person of religion, where do you fit? Discuss that amongst yourselves. Discuss that amongst yourselves.
It's not a problem as long as like there's a problem in the Greek tradition because it's anthropomorphic gods. Gods that can have like different wills, like human wills. Like you can have like Zeus and Neptune. So one's either good or so if you believe in one god, then there is no randomness. Because he sets
Are you finding it, man?
and there's no second
What's wrong with you,
I can
man?
basically answer
Give me a
this
hand.
ayah from the Quran. One comes to Al-Baqarah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and he carries on.
Are you finding the class?
The fact that
Is it engaging? Keep it
fighting is prescribed for you, even though you may hate it. And it may be that you hate something that is good
Are you
for
finding
you.
the class?
And it may be that you
I love
like
this,
something that is bad for you. So to be honest,
Well, that's not the best place to
Okay. That was God's decree, man. I'm not gonna.
Shah's talking.
Yeah, it's sad,
so
but he never like
it might be something
actually,
that's good for you, and you might hate it, something bad for you, but you might not like it. So
reason
this,
for it, yeah.
the second ayah that I wanted to talk about was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Imran, verse number 54, Makaru wa makarallah, wallahu khayrul makirin. They got the plan, and Allah plotted the plan as well. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's the best of planners. This ultimately shows us that it doesn't matter, our perception of good and evil.
I think it's like it's important because like in Imam Bukhari he starts with the hadith like action is based upon intention.
I know. I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say, if you have morality, good and bad things obviously have to originate from morality. But where do you get morality from? And is morality subjective or is it objective? If you say it's subjective, then you're going to derive it from society, and you're going to derive it from evolution, where are you going to derive it from? And doesn't that mean that every single person's perception of morality is going to be different? So there needs to have a concrete, watertight understanding of morality and good and bad and what they are. You need to have it from one source, otherwise someone's idea of bad could be good and vice versa.
Well, I guess the argument is that it's actually objective. So that's what the other argument is.
I suppose that's like smoking cigarettes.
That's not subjective. It's objectively bad.
Well, it was, but before then they didn't know the effect. So that's why it was like
Exactly.
So that's neutral then. It's not good for you.
Okay, guys.
it's makruh
All right.
before.
So what have we decided? Okay. All right. Okay. So I just want to get, because people can disagree here. All right. How many people go for this side?
What's good for me might be bad for you, so no.
Huh?
The consequences are not the same for everyone, so we cannot go with that.
So nobody agrees with this?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm just kidding. All right, okay. Huh? We'll get to that in a second. So how many people agree with this one? Absolutely everyone. Now why do you agree with this? Okay. I'm going to give you something else. Adi, why do you agree with this?
I kind of agree with both.
You agree with both? Ooh.
Same.
Okay, okay. Oh, whoa. What's happening here? Astaghfirullah. Alright. Okay.
How do you agree with both?
Huh? Okay, so why do you agree with both?
Well, because I think that's where human intellect comes in. So from being in a society, we make up a collective knowledge of what is good and what is bad. But it's still...
Okay, I'm going to counter that.
At
You're assuming that collective knowledge is always the best thing necessary.
No.
So, the Jewish Holocaust, for instance, the whole country agreed to kill the Jews is fine. So does that mean collective knowledge is always good?
No, that's...
Relax.
That's...
The Ottomans have killed so many and there's
Yeah.
no Holocaust about it.
Huh? Yeah. I'm not. That's one example out of many. So is collective knowledge always good?
No, not always good. It's good because in making up a collective knowledge, there's always... it's subjective, so it's good or bad, and collective knowledge can come from both. So I think that's where God said so comes in. So what is subjective at first? When you apply God said so, it becomes objective.
Okay. Wow. Okay, sisters.
I think an action is good or bad if we analyze the consequences. You cannot know if it's good or bad beforehand.
Okay.
I might think it's good too.
Okay.
Be here, maybe it's not. I'll see.
Anything else?
Because our ability to judge, I think, is not
Limited,
that perfect.
very.
Perfect, so that's why.
But,
Okay.
but it shouldn't matter, like, if the good in itself is good or bad, it shouldn't matter whether we can judge it. So can't it be like something in itself is good or bad because God made it so, but we just ourselves can't see it.
Okay.
Do we know?
I think we only consider something to be good and bad because the laws of conscience that God created. So if you go a level above, is something good or bad? That's based on conscience. And how was consciousness created? That's not created by itself. That's created by.
God forgives any mistake, any bad or anything. So what's good or bad?
Okay. I will agree with that totally, but
God created man, but he's prone to ulum and jahula, which is foolishness and oppression.
But I think
So objective morality, at the end of the day, morality cannot be subjective because people's interpretations of morality is going to be different.
Yeah.
X person's interpretation of good and bad is going to be
But
different.
not in all
So
cases.
at the end
I
of the
think
day,
as humans,
morality
like,
has
we
to
all
be
have something we
objective.
agree on.
Yeah, but morality has to be
Not always.
objective.
not always, but I think on certain things. I think there's certain things that everyone
Yeah, but not absolutely. 100% agreement.
So you need to basically get.
okay, don't kill yourself. Okay. Don't kill yourself. We're creating facade a little bit, so we need to keep it under control. Alright, okay. So Shah, what were you saying? Finalize your point.
Right. Morality.
Not an essay.
Morality
Yeah.
is subjectively. It can't be. You can't quantify it subjectively.
Okay?
So the only thing you can do is do it objectively, and the only thing that we can go to for objective morality is God Himself. Subjectively, our interpretations of morality are always going to vary because it depends upon which subject you look at. And people would think this is good, another person would see it as bad, and vice versa.
Okay. Last point from sister. Yeah, like you said. Yeah?
Just thinking, like, you know, things of the great areas of Islam, that requires subjective judgment. You need to know whether it's good or bad. In some situations, going with one thing is good and others it's bad. So you do need to think about it sometimes and form your own judgment. Because some things are unclear in Islam, and we have the right to choose.
Yeah, that's why we have like Surah and Fatwa and things like that. But everything we make judgments of are based on what God has decided to be good or bad. And like you were saying, like there are things that most people agree is good. For example, helping a granny cross the road. Like you would say most people would agree that it's good because we have a conscience, right? But conscience and our fitra, our nature